学薬学は世界一。Welcome again to another episode. In this one we're gonna be talking about the Medao Battalion. So, without any further ado, let's begin. Starting with the most important things that only few people do know, and you gonna be one of them. Did you know that the first skill, number 1, the brace, actually increases the first impact hit damage as the momentum of the charging unit increases? In other words, if you see Cav with good momentum heading your way, it's actually a good thing. The Medao Battalion damage can reach up to 8k versus tier 5 full momentum cavalry charge. And yes, this also applies on both melee charges and heroes. So, if you are along swords, keep this in mind, because charging the Medao Battalion head on while in brace is not the best idea. The Medao Battalion can actually rotate in the brace. However, this will only happen in one condition, that they have no close enemies nearby. For example, in this clip, I was facing or actually fighting the palace guards, and then I noticed the cav behind me, so I need to manually redirect them, because if I press brace, they will brace toward the closest enemy unit to them. And I'll just slow this down and actually freeze the picture for you to notice the numbers I did deal to Ormego Lancers. Please note that the gap in numbers is actually huge, because I was not in a formation. I just press brace and that's it. I was not even facing the hussars correctly. Now let's move on to the skill number 3. So Carnage is actually a pretty powerful skill, but here's the catch. You need to get super close to the enemy unit before doing it. Just like you used to do with the Cylinders if you know them. Because every single soldier, single damage is not actually enough, but grouped together in a tight place, they are enough to literally eradicate any other unit, including Reapers and Shield Maidens. Like anything, they will just cut through and it's done for. Now let's talk about the CC partial immunity. So when you do any of their skills, they shine in yellow. Do you see this moment just like a couple of seconds in yellow? They are immune to being dazed or shield bashed or knockbacks, but they are not immune to knockdowns. And similarly, you can't actually raise them up, as you can see in here. So you can't do with them as you're doing with the gray hair garrison. If they are down on the ground, you can't get them up using any skill. Now let's jump back to skill number 2. Skill number 2 actually has a very unique usage where they can push the very close enemy dealing blunt damage and actually deal some really nice damage as piercing one in the stab if the enemy is in a mediocre distance. And as you can just see here, when the glaive tried to actually ult my unit, I just pressed 2 and he vanished. Like full HP glaive just vanished with a press of a button. Last but not least, let's talk about the veterancy tree and the doctrines. When it comes to the veterancy tree, I went personally for the bottom line because this unit needs a huge boost in defense and the bottom line actually provides this. When it comes to the top line, actually the top line will boost your second skill and third skill, but it will not really affect the brace damage this much since, as I mentioned before, the brace damage only increases by the momentum of the charging enemy toward you. So yes, if you did go for the top line, you will boost your damage, but you will make your unit super squishy that a couple of bombs of a musket can kill them or a longbow ult. And here's the catch, your nemesis is the Imperial Pikeman Advance, as I mentioned before. If you go to the top line, your Medao battalion will literally die at the first 4 seconds of any Imperial Pikeman Advance, which is a bad thing to happen. So you need to be careful if you're gonna go for the top line. This is why I totally recommend the bottom line, not the top line. Unless you know what you're doing exactly and you have a purpose to go there.